Hello, this is a review of the Remington FR-730 foil shaver. Now, I really like the shaver. Now, it's a good-looking shaver. It is a little bit noisy, but easier to clean monthly and a little bit more work to clean daily than some of the other shavers. And I rather like it compared to my existing Philips Norelco shaver with the floating heads design that we have here. And I'll talk about some of the differences. Now, what you get when you buy this is, of course, you get the shaver itself, which looks rather nice and feels good. It comes in a box like so. So you might, if delivered from Amazon, it'll probably come with a sticker applied and ships directly in the box, but it was pretty well secured. You'll get your AC adapter that you see here, plugs right into the bottom pretty easily. A little brush, which you will need to use daily if you follow the cleaning instructions. And a tote bag. Now, the bag really isn't very nice. It's not anything special. It's just a bag to put it in here. So it's not felt or anything really nice inside. It has a little bit of a velvety material on the outside. But overall is really, really a basic bag. Nothing to write home about at all on the bags. Now, what it doesn't come with, of course, is spare parts. So if you follow the maintenance instructions where you'll want to replace the spare head, the foil, and the cutters once in a while, the part number is listed in the manual, FR-730 for the 730 model there. Now, I did look online and I actually couldn't find this available on Amazon or on the manufacturer site. So that gives you RemingtonProducts.com as the ordering website in the back, and I couldn't find either the shaver or the actual spare part. So just be aware that since it's a new shaver, maybe it's not available yet. But being the letters SPF, when I run Google searches, you find a lot of suntan lotions. Now let's talk about noise of this compared to other shavers, such as this as an example. So let's take a listen. And compare that to my Philips Norelco. It's definitely louder. It's not so loud that I'm worried about somebody sleeping in the room next to it, but it's something that they would definitely hear if they're a really light sleeper, whereas this one was a little bit more of a quieter one. So I definitely think it's louder, but it's not too loud that it would be too concerning, but I wished it was a little bit more quiet like this one. Now, whether you want a foil head versus the circular floating heads design, such as my Philips Norelco XL, it really comes down to preference and what works best for you. So personally, I find the foil heads to work much better for me than the circular pattern. So personally with these, I have to push really hard to work my hair into these heads to get them to work, even with the alleged different designs that they have, that they design on these to really try to pick it up. So I think you're probably already familiar with that one of them works better or worse for you in particular. Now, one neat thing here is these foils are definitely no slouch. So they come with a design that if I zoom in here, you'll see that they have irregular shaped holes and some uniform shaped holes, so the whole system will work to really get at hair. Now, one thing to remember is, while it might be obvious with this to use a circular motion, many people might not realize that you still have to use a circular motion to use this properly as well. So, for example, if you follow the manual, like they tell you, you'll have to work in a circular motion if you really, really want to pick up hair. So if you plan to just shave up and down like a razor blade, it's not going to pick up as much. However, personally, I've always found that I can definitely pick up more with this going around my chin and so on than I ever could with this. Whereas this one, I got to really, really rub to try to get at it. And I found better success with this particular design and with the foils on this one. Now let's talk about cleaning. Now, it's a little bit easier to clean monthly, but more work to clean daily than some alternatives like the Philips Norelco. Now basically, the manual gives you good instructions. Basically it says pull off the lid, brush out the contents on the inside, basically you just tap it off and then brush it out using the brush that they give you. So this is something you're going to have to use daily if you're going to follow the instructions. And that's opposed to some of the other Philips Norelco shavers that all you do is press the button, shake it out, rinse it under water. You literally rinse these under hot water, and then you let it dry for the day and close it up and you're done. And what you do on this one, of course, is press the two buttons on the two sides, and the lid comes off, as you can see here. And we can get a look inside at the shaver. And then basically you use the brush to go ahead and brush out around the base and as you need. And basically you just tap them off a little bit, and it's pretty easy to do. The cap goes back on really easily. Of course, you're supposed to use two hands to do this, but I'm trying to take the video at the same time. And that much was pretty easy to do. It's just a little bit more work than open, shake out, rinse, and I'm done. Now, monthly cleaning on this is a whole lot easier than it was for me at the Philips Norelco, and I'll talk about that. It was so much more difficult to clean these using the official monthly process that I don't even bother to clean it doing that way. So this is definitely doable. So let's take a look at what it is. So basically, say take the head off like you were going to do normally and expose the cutters below. Drop a drop of soap onto each of the cutters. Then using the brush that they give you, work it in to suds it up, put the cover back on so that the foils are back on it, then turn it on for 30 seconds, and then while still on, start running water through that, and eventually until you rinse it clean, and then thoroughly let it dry, and you're good to go. Now the other ones like this, they tell you got to, you take it off, you got to disassemble this assembly here, then you got to soak each of them one at a time in alcohol and rub it off and so on, and you got to handle them just one at a time because you got to be so careful to put the head back into the exact right one. That it just sounded like a whole lot of work to do it 3 times, one for each head, because they said do not mix up which ones they go in. I'm not here to talk about this one in the review here, but it sounded so difficult that I don't even bother to do it. Whereas this process definitely seems doable to follow. So I thought the monthly cleaning on this was much better and seemed a reasonable trade-off for the daily cleaning that wasn't as easy as this one was, but was still plenty easy to do in the morning. Now, another thing I really like about this one is the trimmer on the back. I find this one a lot easier to control. Something about the shape of it, the size of it, seems perfect for me to trim my sideburns with this here. I can really easily control, put up against my face, and control where I'm cutting. I always had difficulty with the setup on my Philips Norelco. It's something about the way the shape of this is that I think I'm always holding it at off an angle. You see how it's shaped up into the side, whereas this one, when I'm holding it, it's much more straight, that I can see in the mirror and cut this straight down. Now, one thing to be on the watch out for is these seem really good at picking up sideburns hair, that if you're not watching and you go up too high, it definitely picked up and trimmed it up on its own without me even using the attachments here. Whereas this one, I can almost go over hair I didn't intend to once or twice, and it doesn't seem to always grab the hair, especially longer hair. Whereas this one, it seemed to just zip and pulled the sideburns right off however high I went out with this. But I was really happy with the trimmer on the back of this. I had a foil shaver in the past that had done just as well with the trimmer on the back. I mean, I've always been unhappy with the Philips Norelco trimmer. Just something about the angle of it and the size of it isn't quite as wide, whereas this one's just a little bit wider and seemed perfect for me. So I was happy with that aspect. One thing I looked at is like, oh gee, I thought there was supposed to be a battery level indicator. And that's where it is. It's hidden underneath the surface here. So you can see how it just lights up. You won't even see it when it's off. Compared to other ones, whereas my Philips Norelco will have 2 LED lights, and when I turn it on at some point, this thing will turn orange when it's time to go charge it again. Whereas I like that this one, you'll always be able to see the charge from empty to full to see how it's doing. And now it comes with a nice little protective cover that easily snaps on and easily off, that keeps the foils well protected during travel, so that when even put in a little flimsy bag like this, it stays plenty well protected. So I'm not really worried about it since it's a nice hard firm cover. So overall I like it. I think it's a little bit noisier than I would have liked. I really think the looks of it is really good. I like how the LEDs show through. I like that you can see how much charge is left with it. I like the trimmer. I think it does an excellent job in performance on my face. I really wish I had one that had one of those cleaning systems that I could put it in to see how those do, so I don't even have to do the monthly cleaning process. But the bag isn't spectacular, but overall I think the thing for what it is great, and I like it more than what I had been using, and I'm going to immediately stop using this, and I'm going to continue using this one daily going forward. So It works great for me. I'm very happy with it.